Big Ten Nation, what's going on? Ken, the super cool Spartan, my brother Brian, the super mad Spartan, Q the Woodshed, the Big Ten edition, coming back at you guys with this fresh, funky content here. Brian, the super mad Spartan, boy, he's rocking the DMC look here, boy. Yes, good look there, sir. Good look there, young man. I love it. Love it.
Nah, my contacts is bothering me, so I'd rock with the glasses today. These are my cool glasses.
Yes. Yes. Looking good there. Looking good. As you can see, we're taking a quick break here from the Spartan gear. We're in our some good sports attire here on this Big Ten edition. So let's just get right into it. So as we know, the CFP rankings came out the first week of it, and about 6 Big Ten teams, I believe, made the cut. I gotta give them a little list here. We have Ohio State at number 1. Oh, we got 7 teams? Okay, my bad. My bad. Yes, you're correct. You're correct. We have 7 teams that made it to the cut into the Big Ten CFP rankings, with Ohio State number 1, obvious. Indiana number 2. Oregon number 9. USC number 19. Surprisingly, Iowa at 20. Didn't see that one coming. That team down the road at 21. And running it all out, those Fighting Huskies at number 23. So having our Big Ten CFP rankings talk here to kick things off. So my first question to you is, Mr. Super Mad Spartan, since you're the you're the big analyst here between us two. You do your analyst rankings here.
My breakdown.
Yeah, your breakdown's very scientific. Of course, this is not including Ohio State, because Ohio State, we all know that's the easiest thing to talk about. So first question is, between Indiana and Oregon, can either one of those teams win a national chip this year? And between those two teams, what do you think, which one has the best chance?
I mean, surprisingly, I think they both can. And especially with Indiana going on the road and beating Oregon, so we already know they can beat a big team at their own spot. They have to go on the road. And Indiana's proven so far that, it's not a flash of the pan. It's not just a feel-good story. Like, no, they're a really good football team. And if you watch, around the nation, the lack of good football, it's not just, we bag on Michigan State because that's our school, but outside of basically like a lot of top 10 schools, it's not a lot of good football being played out there. So can Oregon or Indiana win? Yes. And between the two, I would say Indiana, because, head to head, Indiana controlled that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did from start to finish.
Yeah, the score, they probably could have added another touchdown if they didn't throw that. I think Mendoza threw a pick 6 in that game, and that made the score a little bit closer. But if they score that touchdown and attack one more, that's a double-digit victory.
Yeah. Indiana has really proven that they belong this year. I mean, seriously.
Yes.
So I will agree with you, considering if you look at the whole landscape of college football right now, because the whole, the saying goes, November is for contenders as far as college football goes. This is the month where you have the top teams really prove themselves to be worthy of getting into the playoff and seeing how far they can go the distance. and you have those teams that are kind of knocking on the door, to solidify their position, in the playoff themselves, all the way down to teams that realistically don't have a chance to get into the playoff, but at least get themselves into, as they call, a New Year's Six Bowl. So, this is the time of year where those teams that really distance themselves from being contenders to pretenders, and both Indiana and Oregon, they're both definitely contenders. It's just a matter of between those two, because both will get into the playoff. I mean, just unless someone just falters down the stretch, which I don't see really either team doing. I think Indiana more than likely will go undefeated because their schedule is not that daunting. I mean, they're really big tests when
they already faced their big tests.
Yeah, the only big test that they have is the conference championship, which more than likely they'll face Ohio State. So, that'll really decide, who's the big dog in the Big Ten. But safe to say, both Indiana and Oregon will get into the playoff regardless. And as far as for Ohio State, I mean, they speak for themselves. Only challenge they have is, beating that team down the road, come, Thanksgiving weekend, which I think they will this year, because I don't see Ryan Day losing. I don't see Ryan Day losing a fifth game in a row to Michigan.
We've been saying that for the last 5 years about Ohio State should be Michigan. They should be, and they've been choking on it. So
yes, and again,
we're gonna have to see.
And again, 2 of those years were, contributed by Mr. Connor Stalions. So those years have asterisks, but overall, to the bigger point, yeah, Ryan Day, Connor Stalions or not, he cannot take another loss to Michigan, and I just don't see that happening.
No.
So I think by the time you get to the Big Ten championship, you have 2 undefeated teams between Indiana and Ohio State, and that'll really determine, conference supremacy. So, yep, moving on. So the other teams that are ranked in the CFP: USC, Iowa, U of M, and Washington. Between those four teams, because realistically, none of those teams have a chance to get into the playoff this year. I don't see that happening. But who do you think between that group can sneak into the CFP next year?
Well, I was going to say there is a chance for USC and Iowa to sneak in. And actually, I was going to say, I'm surprised USC is not ranked a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have 2 losses, but they only lost to 2 of the ranked teams. Notre Dame is on the cusp of being in the playoffs. Then they lost to
Illinois.
Illinois is not ranked. Illinois is not terrible. That was on the road. They lost by 2 points. But I'm looking at the only reason I say USC probably won't make it. They're looking at the remaining schedule. Right, they have Northwestern this weekend, which should be a W.
Yeah, that's at home too.
But then they have Iowa. Yeah, they're it's Northwestern and Iowa both are at home for USC.
Oh, okay.
But the big one, if they can pull out those 2 victories, and then after that they play at Oregon, so that's probably going to be their downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Now that makes it, but if they beat Oregon, that makes it very interesting, because then you have Oregon, who's in the playoffs right now, that have their second loss.
Mm-hmm.
And would that be enough to sneak them in? Because, Oregon, their remaining schedule at Iowa, So that could be
Yeah,
tough.
that could be tough.
Minnesota, we know Minnesota's not that good. They're not terrible. They're not like good. Then USC to Washington. Oregon has some potential slip up games in there.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the, you said who could sneak into the playoffs next year. I'm sorry to derail the question, but I'm talking about this year. USC and Iowa have a shot, an outside shot. They have to just win the games in front of them. And then, to answer your question for next season, I would have to go USC anyway, because I'm just looking at, what they bring back. Through the quarterbacks back, they have those receivers. Another year in the Big Ten, get acclimated to it. They have a really good defensive coordinator who I wanted at Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he took that bag, and nothing wrong with that. Iowa, you don't know what. I get this strange. That's strange. I just get the sense that Kirk Ferentz is not going to be coaching there too much longer. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's good. He's had Iowa stable for a very long time.
Yeah. Almost a quarter decade. No, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've been there for like 20 plus years.
Yeah,
so
25
they've been stable
years.
they've been a very stable.
I meant to say 25
program.
years, not quarter decade, 25 years.
Yeah, but then they're up and down. You know how their offense is. They're winning this year. Offense looks better, but we shall see. Other school, U of M, I don't know what to expect from them. I feel like you're seeing their ceiling. This is what they're going to be. Are they going to lose some more guys on defense? Their offense has been their offense. It's just a disgusting brand of football, honestly, on offense, but it works for them. I wish they would, I would like to see what Bryce Underwood could do, but that's not their offense, and that it wasn't their offense when they had the other guy, JJ McCarthy, there either. They're just gonna hand the ball off 52 times they can, play action to the tight end, take a couple of deep shots, throw behind the line of scrimmage,
and play tough
hopefully just grind teams down so they can pop up big few runs. Yeah, I mean, it's what they want, and that's what they're gonna do. So I don't know if that lends them to, making that push to get back into that top 12. I haven't looked at any of these teams' schedules, so that could definitely factor into it. But just off the top, definitely would say USC. Washington, the same. I don't, they have a young quarterback now who's, getting his time in. They've played very well throughout the year. And we talk about tier rankings in the Big Ten. They're definitely in that tier trying to go to elite. They're in that, we're respectable, trying to go to the next tier where Penn State was at before Penn State fell off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So let me look at their schedule, because that can determine a lot as well. If I can go to next year, let me see.
Yeah, I would say while you play up the schedule for next year, I like USC and I like Washington. For some reason, Washington really surprised me this year because when they came into the Big Ten last year, I mean, they weren't completely trash. I think they won maybe 7 or 8 games last year. I can't remember. And it seems like they've improved from last year to this year. So if they can continue to make that stride, I can see Washington being in the mix for the top 12 for next year. Definitely USC. I mean, I was impressed with USC this year. After they took us out, I can really see the improvement that Lincoln Riley did, with that team from his first year being in the league. Adding a good running game to complement, the passing game and the way that he calls plays. I was very impressed with that. And I could see, to your point, I could see USC sneaking in if they win out, and definitely see them for the next year. As for Iowa and Michigan, yeah, you never know with Iowa because they just. I mean, I will say that Iowa does find a way to win games. I mean, I would say for the past few years, they've always been that team in the conference that's always under the radar. But when you look at the standings, like, oh my, wow, they won 6 games.
Yeah.
You know, they seem to be bowl eligible
Like,
every
I'm looking at
year.
both these. Yeah, for sure. I was just pulling up the schedules, and you know, in the, they have both these squads have they're gonna have there's some games on there. For USC, you know, they're gonna post. Of course, they play Notre Dame, so that's always gonna be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have Maryland. Yeah, USC might. Yeah, I might retract my statement about USC
For this year or for
because they
next
got
year?
next season because they got Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana
Ooh.
all next season.
Oh.
So
The gauntlet.
yeah, and plus Notre Dame. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah, that is.
Iowa in the Big Ten, Indiana, Oregon. I mean, they play USC as well, so you can throw that in there. So I would say USC had a tough schedule. My goodness, they have a tough schedule.
Reminds
Let's
us.
look up.
That reminds me
Yes,
of what we had last year.
yes, just a complete gauntlet. And then Michigan kind of is. Are they in the same boat? They got Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon next year,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
Oklahoma comes to their place. So
Tasty.
that's very tough.
Yeah.
Let me look at Washington because maybe I should look this up before I before the pod, but live look because yeah.
So maybe next year might
Let
be
me
none
see
of
what
them.
Washington got going on.
It might be none of them next year.
All right. Washington next year, they're really big games. Oh, and then this also just could change because teams fall off cliffs every year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not including Penn State as being like a big game for anybody because they fall off a cliff. They're fighting for the bottom of the pack, like with us. But let's see, Washington, Indiana, Oregon, USC. So actually, it's actually tough to say. Like maybe Washington has a slightly easier because
Mm-hmm.
the travel for USC, but I don't know. All of them got some kind of guy. I mean, the Big Ten's a gauntlet now. Like you know,
It
and
is.
we're not talking about like playing bottom, but you're talking about there's that schedule next year for USC. They may be playing 3 top 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Michigan. They may be playing 3 top 10 teams. So it was going to be tough. I retract my statement. I just off the top just thought USC because I think they're the better team of these teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that schedule, it's brutal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I know, watching some of the talking heads on a national scale, especially on ESPN because, ESPN, they're all about the SEC because, they show all their games now. Big Ten definitely is a conference you really can't sleep on because of there's like 18 teams now, I think, in the conference. And
Yes.
I would say at least 9 to 10 teams, from that top tier to the second tier, those are some pretty tough games. So, for example,
Yes.
like like us, good old Michigan State, before the season started, not knowing what we had, there are a lot of games that were toss-up games because coming off a 5-7 season and just looking at this schedule, and we talked about it, during our initial podcast for this year. A lot of those games were toss-up games because you didn't know, what you had, and playing teams that were at least at your level or a little lower, you just didn't know. So now that we know, we're like, yeah, the Iowas, the Washingtons, even teams like, Minnesota. And we talked about this before. These teams, you just kind of, like November 1st, you check the Big Ten standings. You're like, what? Iowa has 6 wins. Minnesota has 6 wins. Teams that you think maybe just completely dog poop. You look at the schedule come November 1st, they're already bowl eligible. And they really hadn't played like anybody. They haven't played Ohio State or Oregon or something. Like Minnesota, for example. Yeah, they played Iowa, got mollywopped, and they played Ohio State, got mollywopped, but they're still bowl eligible. So I would say in the Big Ten, you can't sleep on those the middle tier teams, that tier 2 teams, because those are teams that just kind of beat up on their peers that have the same talent as them or maybe a little lower. But there's so many of those teams that you could get 6-7 wins come November 1st, and you're looking, pretty decent for a decent bowl game. The Champ Sports Bowl or the Gator Bowl or something like that.
It's something.
So since we were talking about toilet bowls, you may have to look at the schedule again, broski, because here at Q the Woodshed, we spread the love. It's always easy to talk about the top teams every week in the conference. But, we try to mix it up here. So, we always give love to those teams that are in the toilet bowl like us. We give some shine to the toilet bowl teams. So, what are the best toilet bowl matches this weekend in the conference?
You mean
can't say us because we're in the bye week this week. Like Purdue versus Wisconsin. Are they playing this weekend? Are they playing this weekend, Purdue and Wisconsin?
No. Probably as you would say, the toilet bowl matchup would be Maryland at Rutgers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a dandy.
Rutgers
there.
is teetering. and Maryland, they're both on they're
cusp.
trying to stay out the bottom of the Big Ten. Like they're on
on
that cusp of being in the bottom.
So they're on the cusp of going to the whatever the name of the bowl game is after Christmas in Ford Field, whatever that bowl game is, to no bowl game. That's what we're talking about.
Avocados from Mexico Bowl. I don't know.
The Weed Eater Bowl.
Well, that would be the lowest.
The lowest of the lows.
Sounds terrible. The lowest matchup in the Big Ten. But all right, so just to go through the Big Ten schedule this weekend, we have Northwestern at USC.
USC will win.
That should be USC should win that one. Then you have Indiana at Penn State, Big Ten noon. Which
oh God, Joel Penn Klatt and Gus Johnson again. Oh boy.
I mean that's their position on their knees. Then you have Ohio State at Purdue.
Oh God. Can Purdue forfeit that game?
Ohio State taking care of business.
Can they just say, you know what? Did we forfeit? Take the L.
Hey, you still gotta play the games. You can't. Yeah, you don't expect to slip up, but this is college football. You never know what team sees that ranking come out and then that fire just kind of diminishes a little bit because they feel like they've made it a little bit. But
Yeah,
you never
yeah.
know.
They're gonna
The
be,
game's set to be played.
yeah,
We talk.
but they're still gonna be don't this weekend. So, that's my
Oh, for
prediction.
sure. They should.
49-0.
And already talk about zero score. Wow. Then you have Maryland at Rutgers, like we talked about. And then probably the biggest game this weekend is
The Toilet
for the
Bowl.
Big Ten at least
Oh,
is Oregon. No, just talking about. I'm just going through the whole schedule.
oh okay. All right.
So there's only one bad matchup between the teams. That's Maryland at Rutgers.
Oh,
Everything else is respectable at this moment. And as I said, they have Oregon at Iowa, which is that's gonna be a good game, we think. And then we have Washington at Wisconsin, and then to end the Big Ten schedule for this weekend, you have Nebraska at UCLA. Excuse me.
mm.
So not a lot of terrible matchups. Just there's going to be some games. I said I'm looking forward to that Oregon Iowa game.
Yeah, Oregon and Iowa, best matchup this weekend. Big Ten play should be a decent slobber knocker. We'll see what happens. Kinnick is a very hard place to, hard stadium to play at. So the Ducks have to pack their lunch pails for sure.
100%.
So as far as for us, anything else in the Big Ten? I did see on ESPN that Wisconsin, once again, they reiterated they're keeping Luke Fickell. So
Interesting.
the administration is definitely behind him. They gave him that big vote of confidence, unlike Michigan State with their head coach. So more to come there.
I think this is their last ditch effort with Luke Fickell. This is my opinion. I haven't read into their message board because the fans can't be happy with what they've gotten for Luke Fickell. He's
not at
been
all.
there.
This is fourth year.
4 or 5 years.
This is fourth year.
And you're looking worse.
Yeah.
The administration is taking it like it comes off as that we haven't supported him good enough. And that's why we haven't been winning. We haven't been giving him the NIL support that they need. And I'm like, listen, I can understand that to a certain extent. But some of these games are losing is not about talent, just a bad football team. And that's all based on Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
And so, this is just me, maybe because I'm down about my school and I just tend to see negative things everywhere.
Yeah, that's why the super mad Spartan.
Luke Fickell, the last time Luke Fickell really coached in the Big Ten, he was the interim coach for Ohio State. And that's like the worst season they've had in my entire life.
Yeah.
And so now he went to Cincinnati. It was good. Cincinnati was not in a Power 5 conference back then. They were in a lower tier, but he took them to as high as he could. And so I understand why he was up for the Wisconsin job. And, Michigan State wanted him. But he's been at Wisconsin, trying to turn Wisconsin a program that's known for, offensive linemen, smash mouth football, and try to turn him into air raid. Didn't work. So now he's reversing courses again. I just think this is the industry say, hey, listen, we're gonna do you a solid, give you a full 5 years, because I would imagine if it looks this bad next season, he would have to go. They gave him a vote of confidence. I didn't see he got an extension.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Yeah, and when I saw the blurb about Fickell, on the sports ticker for ESPN, his overall record is under 500 since he's been at Wisconsin. So
it's not been good.
Yeah, he hasn't been good. And next year is showing, yeah, he's going to have to show something next year, which, let's be honest, is going to be hard because, again, the Big Ten, this Big Ten play is pretty steep. I mean, depending on who you play. So, it may go into his favor next year if he plays a soft schedule or softer schedule. But, if he has that gauntlet, then, yeah, it's going to be tough sledding. So, what's another good transition to our next topic there, Broski? And since we're, on that toilet bowl talk, let's just talk about, our who's on that list for getting the axe, not named Jonathan Smith in the conference. Who you think is next on the chopping block? If I had to guess, I would say, and I've been saying this pretty much all season, Locksley at Maryland. I mean, pretty much since he's been there, he's been doing the September 4 wins in a row, looking good. And come this time of the year, that big downward spiral. So I'm quite
October.
sure.
Once it changed from September.
Yeah, I'm quite sure. The guy that runs Under Armour is like, no. I'm not going to pump all this money and all this gear into a program that looks hot at the beginning of the season, turns into trash towards the end. That's just my take.
It's funny because I agree with you. I think Maryland's head coach Locksley would be the logical choice
on the
chopping block. But I'm not sure they've heard much smoke with that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like completely plugged into Maryland football, and I haven't seen anything on the message board saying, "Hey, Mike Locksley's next," and it's getting hot over there. Because I was for sure thinking, guy to Luke Fickell. This is year 4. These are all your guys. This is the second season of the not having East and West, and you were in the West, the dirty West, the easy West, and you're still losing over there. So I'm like, okay, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But he got the vote of confidence, and then so I think Loxley would be the next, outside of Jonathan Smith, yeah, for sure, Loxley. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of smoke with it, so we will see. Anybody else? I'm trying to think of the bad teams. Northwestern, well, they're not bad. I don't want to put Northwestern in the bad category this season. They're solid.
They won about 5-6 games.
Right.
Yeah, they won about 5 or 6 games. I mean, they're at least, I would say, 1 game away from being bowl eligible. So they're in that tier 2.
Yeah, and then Purdue, they just got a new head coach, and so they're
he's
not going to
safe.
fire him.
Yeah, he's safe.
Trying to think.
I don't think Rutgers is going to get it. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to drop Greg Schiano. He's the best coach they've had at Rutgers.
Twice. Yeah, so and they're on the cusp of bowl eligibility, which is fine. So I don't think he's on the chopping block either. Penn State already fired their coach, so there's them.
So I guess just us in Maryland.
And I don't think Maryland's going to fire their coach. Yeah, and Michigan State might not fire our coach. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Whew. Boy.
I mean, because what if he, just the throw out this fallacy. I don't think it's going to happen. He could win out and would be bowl eligible, and then I just think a large portion of the fan base is just done with Jonathan Smith. So he could win out, and people would still be like, "I don't like him. I'm ready to go." And so but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, just Loxley and Smith seem to be have the hottest of seats right now. Unless you want to go
Yeah.
crazy and say, well, Ohio State, if fire Ryan Day, if he loses to Michigan, I'm like, man, I can understand being upset, but you can lose to Michigan and win a national championship. I think a national championship still ranks higher than just beating your rival.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's super annoying, but yeah, no. So yeah, I'm with you there, broski.
Yeah, there's only 3 games left, so we'll see how this plays out. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that for the Spartans, if Jonathan Smith stays, I mean, you're talking about a big revolt come next football season. I think you're talking about a mass exodus of Spartan Stadium looking like tumbleweeds rolling through there. And like, the fallout would be just wow. But
Yeah, we're not gonna get too deep into it because I feel like,
yeah.
that's been the hottest topic for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So we have to find something else to talk about.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I will say on the college hoops front, Izzo's rolling in that recruiting. He got a top
Yes.
4-star point guard or shooting
5-star.
guard, 5-star. Yeah.
5-star shooting guard.
Yeah.
Isaiah Zervis. Big time
Yes.
get.
So
I was thinking might be trying to hang it up in the next few years. My thoughts were it was going to be through, with Jeremy Fears. But the way he's been recruiting, I don't think he's going to stop until he gets that second championship.
right.
And then supposedly there's another big time get that Michigan State is a big time prospect. Michigan State is in line to get. So
Yeah, I
fighting
forget
his
the
hoes.
kid's
And then
name.
speaking of,
Yeah, I forget the
what are you
kid's
saying?
name, but the recruit you're talking about, I forget his name, but I know he's mentioned MSU in his top 4. I think it's MSU,
Yeah, Ethan Taylor.
Kentucky. Okay, yeah. He mentioned
center,
MSU,
which center's recruiting is difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he has MSU, UNC, Texas, and Kentucky, I think, in his top 4.
Yeah, so Izzo brought the relationships and he brought that money gun. So he's determined.
Yes, he is. Yes, he
And
is.
then
Trying to
speaking
get that
of
last
the
one.
fighting Izzos, we have the big game coming up this weekend, versus Arkansas.
Yeah.
Coach Calipari. Man, I'm just waiting for the overreaction because you know how Spartan basketball goes. Typically these aren't the types of games that Michigan State wins a lot of.
Yeah, out the gate.
Remember, it was the last season. Everybody said, "Oh, Michigan State shouldn't be in the Champions Classic anymore because blah 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 blah." But then they went on the run. In typical Izzo fashion, his team. He wants them confident, but he also always likes to let them show like you guys aren't unbeatable. So I'm not just blowing smoke up your wahoo.
Right.
We have to do these things.
Right. You got to
This is who your
earn.
competition is.
Yeah.
And they State has a non-conference, just completely madman gauntlet. And we'll see what the team is going to look like because I think the exhibition game and the game versus Colgate left a lot to be desired from the basketball team. But it's still early in the season, so we shall see. And Izzo we trust.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely it is a we trust. And speaking of hoops, I don't know if you saw this, Brian, on Instagram, but Moneyball Sportswear, they're doing like a statewide league now, or um, I saw it on Instagram earlier today. Actually, I shout out to Desmond Ferguson. We just interviewed him, so shout out to him that he's doing
Good
like
dude. It's a good guy.
yeah, he's doing this statewide league now in January. You know, Grand
Okay.
Rapids and Flint, Detroit, Lansing. So he's really expanding his league play. So, I had to
It's good to
shout him
see.
out. So yeah. Shout out to Desmond Ferguson and Moneyball Sportswear. So we gotta get up in there, broski. Maybe do some live
Yeah, I'm gonna
podcasts from there or
catch some
something.
games.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
gonna get him about
figure it
that.
out.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I think we chopped it up enough here about the Big Ten talk. As usual, we're gonna bring it back to the good old green and white here. Got the good old fun football fact here for you. Now, I have to admit, this one, I kind of threw like a dart on a dartboard to think of this question because, as we've been doing this, trying to think of different fun football facts, I always have to come with something to kind of throw that curveball at you. So this one here, and I was actually surprised about this one myself. So this one is kind of like a back in the day type of multiple choice question here for you, sir.
Okay.
So this fun football fact question is: how many games did MSU win in 1978? See, you weren't even born in 1978. I was just
Nope.
a baby in 1978. Questions multiple choice again. How many games did MSU win in 1978? Is it 5? Is it 7? Or is it 8?
I must go with 7. I have no clue.
Yeah. Well, you're wrong. You were
I've been on a
one.
bad streak of losing. I
Yep.
haven't gotten one right in a grip.
Yeah. You were one game off. They won 8 games in 1978. The overall record was 8-3. And in conference play, they were 7-1. They want to share the Big Ten championship that year.
Oh man. So like once a decade we just get up like, hey, we're pretty good. And then we go back down to the doldrums. Because they didn't
Yeah.
win like another one again. It's like the late 80s, early 90s with
Yeah,
like
so
Renzo
Perlis
White
became the
and them.
coach. Yeah, because the coach of MSU at this time was Daryl Rogers, who I heard
Ooh.
his name was Daryl Rogers. He was the coach of MSU at this time. And
I'm terrible. I've never heard of.
yeah, I heard of him because I think our dad had told me that his overall record at MSU was not that desirable, but I guess this year it was. But I think our dad had told me that Daryl Rogers went on to coach the Lions, I believe, in the late 70s to early
Oh
80s.
wow.
I think he was the coach before Wayne Fonts became the head coach. So
Wayne
I
Fonts.
don't think
Wow.
Daryl Rogers was as successful as the Lions coach. But this one year at MSU, he was shining. So yeah, to your point, I don't think MSU won another Big Ten title until the Rose Bowl team in the late 80s. And that was when George Perlis was the
Yes.
coach. So shout out to Daryl Rogers and the team of 78.
Man, football's down so bad.
Yeah.
Every 20 years you rise up. I said every decade. No, it's every 20 years.
Yeah.
Damn near, but yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe
buddy.
we'll have grandkids next time MSU is good at football.
Oh man, I hope not, boy. I hope not. I hope not.
Hopefully it's
So
sooner. I hope it's sooner than that.
yeah. I mean, in the world of NIL, there's no excuse that you cannot have a to get into the CFP at least. If you're really serious about football as a college football program, especially, and I'll say this too before we get off here. I think I had sent you this post on Instagram. If I didn't send it to you, Brian, I'll find it. I sent it to my college homies. That the post was about MSU, the coaching position, the head coach for the football program, saying that MSU itself is a desirable. I mean, I don't know how true this is or not. I mean, but the post was that MSU is a desirable head coaching destination because of one, being in the Big Ten, two, having a very dedicated fan base, the one that travels, three, you're in like a top 20, what's the word? I would say market, but MSU always gets their shine of nationally televised football games. So from the TV market standpoint, you're good there. So those are at least like 3 to 4 good things that this post mentioned. I think it also mentioned about the facilities are pretty decent too. I mean, they're not, in the bottom of the basement of facilities. Do they need to be improved? Yes, but they're not like in the bottom, the bottom feeders, of football facilities. So overall, it was saying that the MSU coaching position for football is a desirable one because of those things. So, what are your thoughts on that before we get out of here?
I can agree with that, but I'd also, have to give the other side of it of why it can be a headache. Michigan State is never going to be the number one school in this state. It's always going to be Michigan. So you don't have to deal with that. So that could actually be a good thing because it's not, I was never going to be, well, I take that back. It would appear to be a good thing, but we know in reality it's not because you're going to get treated like a second class citizen all the time within the Big Ten. So you have to be okay with that. Another piece, I don't think it was the Athletic, like, or some ranking I saw, like the Big Ten coaching jobs. And one of the things they mentioned is that our administration, are we going to decide to be a big boy football program or not? And that's probably the biggest thing that's held Michigan State back in football. You have people going in, too many people who need to be going in the same direction, going in opposite directions. Or they're trying to do, it's all about me, instead about the university, or the football program. It's like what it is. Now there seems to be this up and down money issue in football. You never know with NIL. But then you juxtapose that to basketball. Basketball got money.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball, like I said,
Yeah.
Izzo's out there money gunning it up. He's building relationships and money gunning it up. So, hey, yeah, you can get coached by Tom Izzo and you get that bread.
Yeah.
So those are the two things I think, that are a negative check. But overall, yes, Michigan State is a desirable football program. A lot of people on the message board just kind of think the pecking order we're so much lower than what we are. The truth is always in the middle. So if you're going to be getting a new coach, we can attract some people if
Yeah,
we
but
get things
if
in
was a
order,
fifth,
and it
we'd all be
appears that
drunk.
J Bat's trying to. Yeah, but I agree that the raw sentiment that, yes, Michigan State football is a desirable program for a head coach. Now, does that mean long-term stay, or are we a stepping stone program?
Mm-hmm.
In new college football, we don't know yet.
Right. Right. And, I think that the administration is trying to right the ship, per se, for football because, they got a new athletic director, because the president was like, okay, we need a new direction. So doing that, number one, and then number two, the moves that J-Bat has done, just the little bit of time he's been at MSU as the new AD, improving some of the things at Spartan Stadium, adding more vendors. Fireworks, okay, fireworks is cool. Okay. That's okay. All right. And
I can dig it.
I do believe that they are making more renovations to Spartan Stadium. And I hope to God that they update the damn bathrooms, because the whole slop trough looking thing in the bathroom, at least in the men's bathroom, that's a bad look. That's terrible.
Bro, I was in
Looking like-
shock the first time I went to the stadium. I was like, what in the heck?
Right. Are we at a
Is this
farm?
just a running water sink or just pissing it? Like, I was
Right.
like, yeah, okay.
Reminds me like we're at a farm or something.
Well, yes. No, but yeah, so we will see, but there's more pluses than minuses, in my opinion, about Michigan State football in terms of what it can be.
Right. And then, the latest move that J-Bat made with this whole Spartan Ventures thing here, which looks like he's setting that up to funnel, NIL money and whatever else, into that piece. So it seems like he's trying to get things aligned in a position for
At least
MSU
get a
to have more money.
foundation set.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we've said before, MSU's not broke. I mean, MSU has a lot of money. I mean, like I said, when we were at MSU, especially me back in the day, all those matriculation fees I paid, that helped fund what's going on with that university now. I was at MSU 30 plus years ago, and I know all the little, what nowadays what I paid would be considered little money. But, that little money I paid contributed to what they got now. So between that and the B-boys that you said that MSU has alone, they got the dough. They just have to get everything lined up to get that dough and to show a return on their investment.
Yes.
So, having said all that, let's wrap this show up, put it on the bow, the Big Ten talk, a little bit of Spartan talk here. Cue the Woodshed, coming at you all this nice, great, lovely content we continue to put out there for everybody. Check us out on our social media, and check us out also on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and we're out. Go green.
Go white.